Our story begins like any good story should, with a hero. And our hero is, well, this chair. Picture, if you will, a single wooden chair sitting in the corner of a dimly lit room, its worn surface bearing the invisible imprints of countless souls who have sought its embrace. If this humble seat could whisper its secrets, what tales might it tell? It had watched centuries drift by like fallen leaves, its roots tracing the path of a forgotten river. One day, its time came, not in some cataclysmic event, but in the slow, steady march of natural order. The forest, too, had its rhythms, its cycles of growth and decay that gave way to new life. But because they carried within them the echoes of a way of life that had all but vanished, when word spread of the young man's craft, people from distant lands came to buy his chairs. They sat on them, not just to rest their weary bodies, but to connect with something deeper, to feel the heartbeat of the earth beneath them. And in doing so, they too were transformed, reminded of the ancient wisdom that had guided the young man's hands. The old oak, now a fallen giant, became a seedbed for the forest floor, its sturdy limbs reaching down to cradle the creatures of the night. More than just a piece of furniture, a conduit to the past, a whisperer of forgotten wisdom and a silent partner in our eternal dance with existence. Of kings who once claimed such furniture as their divine right, of craftsmen whose calloused hands shaped its ancestors from ancient forests, of families who gathered around its siblings for meals that tasted of both bread and belonging. For thousands of years, chairs have been more than just a means of keeping our butts off the ground. They have been silent witnesses to the human story, each grain of wood in its being a testament to lives lived and moments shared. But like many heroes, our chair's journey began long before it found its place in that dimly lit room. He dreamed not of knights or dragons, but of the forest itself, of the ancient oak that whispered to him in the rustling of its leaves. He found the oak and with reverent hands began to fell it, taking care to honor the tree's spirit as he worked. From its heartwood, he crafted stools and chairs, each piece imbued with the essence of the ancient oak. And as he worked, he remembered the stories the tree had whispered to him, stories of a time when people sat around fires, not just for warmth, but for light, for companionship, and for the sacred rituals of life. He dreamed of a people who lived in harmony with nature, who understood that life and death were not ends, but beginnings of something new. When he woke, these dreams stayed with him, taking root in his heart like a tiny acorn. In the heart of a forest, perhaps in a time when the very concept of a forest seemed almost mythical, stood a mighty oak. But far from this forest, in a small village nestled between a hill and a stream, a young boy was dreaming. And so, he left the village, guided by an inner wisdom that had been awakened by the whispers of the forest. His chairs were unlike any others, not because they were particularly beautiful or strong. And that's how, my friends, a simple chair became more than just a chair. A world transformed. How the chair revolutionized spaces, customs, and power dynamics. The year is 1440, and Gutenberg's printing press is about to revolutionize the spread of knowledge in Europe. But across the ocean, in a bustling Chinese city, another revolution is quietly taking place. A revolution that will forever alter how people interact, work, and sit. With each stroke of his hammer, the blacksmith is forging more than just iron. He's crafting a tool that will become ubiquitous. A silent partner in shaping human interactions and power dynamics. The printing press brought words to but the humble chair was about to bring comfort and status to all corners of society. The printing press may have democratized the written word, but the chair was democratizing relaxation. No longer would only the elite enjoy the luxury of back support and leg elevation. As the Middle Ages gave way to the Renaissance, chairs began appearing in more homes, businesses, and public spaces across Europe. The influx of new design ideas spurred by exploration and trade brought with it not just spices and silks, but also novel forms of furniture. The classic European chair began to take shape, featuring a more pronounced backrest, arms that curved invitingly, and a seat upholstered in increasingly luxurious fabrics. The four-leg design, initially inspired by earlier Asian prototypes, became the standard, offering stability and a familiar silhouette that continues to influence modern chairs today. Alongside these developments, chairs started appearing in a wider variety of settings. From the bustling marketplaces of Florence to the manicured gardens of Versailles. Outdoor chairs made from lighter materials like wicker became popular, allowing relaxation to spill into the open air. The quiet ubiquity of chairs in these public spaces was a subtle, yet revolutionary change. A silent acknowledgement that comfort and convenience were not just for the privileged few, but aspirations shared by many. This shift in perception was not lost on the elite. While the common populace enjoyed the novelty of personnel seating, the wealthy continued to use chairs to assert their status, albeit in more subtle ways. Gone were the days of towering thrones. Instead, chairs became larger, more ornate, and more comfortable, offering a stately seat without the overt opulence. Upholstery became a key element, with rich fabrics like velvet, brocade, and later, silk, becoming popular choices. Intricate needlework and stylish tufting added not just comfort, but visual appeal, turning chairs into pieces of art in themselves. The legs, once purely functional, were now often carved into elegant curves, or turned into intricate shapes. Materials like mahogany and other hardwoods replaced the earlier oak, lending a more refined and exotic air to the wealthy man's seat. The rise of chairs in the late Middle Ages and Renaissance was a silent yet profound shift. It was a quiet evolution, from communal benches to personal seats, from tools of opulence to markers of subtle distinction. The chair had come a long way from its elevated origins, yet it was still speaking a language of status and comfort. The very placement of a chair, whether in a prominent corner or modestly tucked away, was a nuanced message about its owner's character and standing. This era saw the chair transform from a mere seat to a multifaceted symbol of status, comfort, and evolving aesthetics, a trend that would continue to influence design and society for centuries to come. Together, we have traced its evolution from humble beginnings as a simple stool over 4,000 years ago to its more sophisticated forms in ancient civilizations, and Roman seating, where the chair started to embody the ideals of proportion, comfort, and leisure. So sit back, relax, and let's delve into the rich history of the chair together. In today's episode, we'll continue our exploration, focusing on the classical elegance of Greek. This was essentially a daybed or couch, on which Greeks would recline while eating, a custom that emphasized leisure, philosophical discussion, and social interaction during While not a chair in the modern sense, the klin underscored a cultural preference for relaxed, horizontal postures during meals, a contrast to the upright formality of earlier seating. These couches were typically rectangular, supported on four legs, and often featured a headboard that could be used as a back. Bronze, marble, and various types of wood were commonly used. While the elite enjoyed chairs with backs and arms, common people often sat on stools, benches, or the ground. However, the increasing complexity of Roman society and its administrative needs meant that specialized seating began to appear in public spaces. In basilicas, law courts, and theaters. Stay tuned to explore the fascinating transformations of this everyday object, and join us in uncovering the rich history of the chair. The seating arrangements in public venues like the Colosseum meticulously reflected the strict social hierarchy, with the most elite viewers closest to the arena and lower classes relegated to higher, less comfortable sections. The quiet dignity of a senator's chair in the Curia, or the simple practicality of a bench in a public bathhouse, each served its purpose within the intricate social fabric, reinforcing the established order. Elaborate inlays of ivory, tortoise shell, and precious metals adorned chairs, reflecting the empire's vast wealth and its patrons' desire for opulent display. Upholstery, though rudimentary by later standards, began to appear more frequently, with cushions and textiles made from animal skins, wool, and linen, adding a layer of comfort and decorative richness. The gentle sheen of polished bronze, the cool touch of marble, and the soft texture of embroidered cushions all contributed to a sensory experience of luxury, a quiet indulgence in the comforts of the Roman home. The Romans also developed the lectus, a more elaborate version of the Greek klin, often crafted with ornate carvings and inlaid decorations, serving as a central piece of furniture for dining and reclining. They were often covered with luxurious textiles, cushions, and animal skins, adding to the comfort and opulence of the dining experience. The quiet murmur of conversation from a klin-filled dining room, the gentle rustle of robes. It moved beyond being solely a rigid symbol of power to incorporate elements of aesthetic beauty and practical comfort. The graceful lines of the Klismos and the robust practicality of Roman forms laid the foundation for future furniture design. demonstrating a growing awareness of the human body's needs and the social functions of seating. The quiet presence of these classical chairs in both grand public settings and intimate domestic spaces us that even the most functional objects can embody the artistic and cultural values of an era, reflecting a society that valued both intellectual pursuits and imperial might. And the shared intimacy of reclining together painted a picture of a society that valued comfort, convivial gathering, and intellectual discourse over rigid formality. The Klin also held funerary significance, often found in tombs, suggesting its role in equipping the deceased with reassuring luxury in the afterlife. Ancient Greece, the Klismos, and the Klin. A pursuit of grace and leisure, Roman seating often adapted Greek forms, making them more robust, luxurious, and sometimes more specialized for various functions. Its design was often more substantial than the Klismos, reflecting Roman gravitas. The sella was a more common stool, often without a back, used by ordinary citizens for various daily activities. For public officials, particularly the sella coerulis was a distinctive folding stool with curved egg-shaped legs, often made of ivory or bronze. This portable chair was a powerful symbol of magisterial power and authority, easily transported to wherever official duties called. Its portability underscored the mobile nature of Roman administration and military campaigns, allowing the display of authority even in temporary settings. The quiet creak of a sella coerulis being unfolded, the subtle shift of weight as a magistrate took his seat, were small sounds that accompanied the exercise of Roman authority, a visual reminder of the imperium bestowed upon their office. While the Klismos found its Roman counterpart, other forms of chairs and seating became more widespread, though still largely confined to the wealthier classes, reflecting the empire's vast wealth and its patrons' desire for opulent display. And a concave backrest designed to support the sitter's back was a revolutionary design. Its form was a departure from the more rectilinear and imposing Egyptian chairs, reflecting the Greek appreciation for harmony, balance, and the natural human form, made typically of wood, such as cedar, olive, or imported yew, with seats of woven leather straps or cane. The Klismos was lighter and more aesthetically refined than its predecessors. It appeared in both domestic settings and public life, though still primarily for the elite, as a symbol of refined taste and intellectual pursuits. The gentle curves of the Klismos, its balanced proportions, and its subtle invitation to recline, marked a significant step towards a more human-centered approach to seating, a quiet pursuit of both beauty and repose. Its design allowed for a relaxed, yet dignified, posture, a stark contrast to the stiff formality of earlier thrones. The influence of the Klismos is so profound that its form has been continually revived throughout history, notably during the neoclassical period, a testament to its timeless appeal and ergonomic foresight. As we gently transition from the rigid, symbolic thrones of ancient empires, we arrive in the classical world of Greece, where the chair began to evolve with a new emphasis on proportion, and for the first time, a subtle consideration for comfort, while still not universally available. Greek seating introduced forms that would profoundly influence Western furniture design for centuries to come, moving beyond mere utility to embody aesthetic ideals and a more human-centered approach to daily life. Perhaps the most iconic Greek chair is this elegant chair, characterized by its gracefully curved legs that splayed outwards, known as saber legs. Alongside the Klismos, the Klin was a prevalent form of seating, particularly for dining. Ancient Rome, adaptation, practicality, and imperial grandeur. When we turn to ancient Rome, we find a society that, while deeply influenced by Greek aesthetics, also brought its own pragmatic approach to furniture design. The cathedra was a chair with a high back, often used by women, and sometimes by teachers or philosophers, indicating a position of authority or instruction. Roman furniture also saw the increased use of luxurious materials, seating in public and private life. A reflection of social order in both Greek and Roman societies, seating continued to delineate social status. The classical period, therefore, marked a significant evolution in the history of the chair. As we continue our journey through time, and we'll see how the chair evolved during the medieval period. A brief history of the medieval chair. As the Roman Empire waned and eventually fell in the West, Europe entered a period often characterized by upheaval, fragmentation, and a general decline in the sophisticated craftsmanship and widespread use of furniture seen in the classical era. The chair, as a common piece of furniture, largely disappeared from everyday life for many centuries, particularly for the general populace. It re-emerged primarily as a throne, a seat reserved exclusively for royalty, high-ranking clergy, and powerful feudal lords, and administrative tasks associated with the expanding power of monarchies, religious institutions, and merchant guilds. Initially, these desks were simple, sturdy tables, often made of wood and sometimes incorporating storage compartments or shelves, would remain the primary material, with oak being highly favored. Carvings, when present, were typically simple and symbolic, featuring geometric patterns, heraldic motifs, or religious iconography. Upholstery was rare and usually consisted of simple cushions or textiles draped over the chair. Craftsmanship was honest and enduring, reflecting a society that valued the simple strength of well-made furniture. The quiet presence of these sturdy seats in the heart of medieval life reminds us that even in times of upheaval, the desire for a stable and authoritative place to sit endured. It was a testament to a society that prized order, hierarchy, and steadfastness, reflecting the power structures and practicalities of a complex and evolving era. However, as the need for writing surfaces and document storage increased, desks became more elaborate. The chair in the medieval hall acted as a visual statement of status, with the lord or lady of the house occupying the most prominent chairs, while retainers and lesser guests lined the walls on benches. Chairs begin to reflect not only status, but a renewed interest in classical antiquity and a burgeoning appreciation for comfort and beauty. During banquets, seating arrangements were carefully orchestrated to reflect social rank, with the most honored guests seated closest to the host. And the medieval chair, therefore, was a testament to a society that valued order, hierarchy, and durability. It was a piece of furniture that, while often austere, carried immense symbolic weight, reflecting the power structures and practicalities of a complex and evolving era. The quiet presence of these sturdy seats, often in the heart of bustling halls, reminds us that even in times of upheaval, the desire for a stable and authoritative place to sit remained a constant, gentle rhythm in the tapestry of human history. It was a period where the chair, though less common, was perhaps more profoundly meaningful than ever before. By the late medieval period, writing desks were often crafted from a variety of materials, including wood, marble, and stone. They frequently featured intricate carvings, heraldic crests, and were richly decorated with gilding and ornamentation. Some desks were designed as a single unit, while others consisted of folding components that could be adjusted or concealed. These desks were not just utilitarian writing surfaces, but also served as symbols of power and prestige, particularly when used by scribes, secretaries, and officials in positions of authority. The evolution of the writing desk during the Middle Ages mirrored the growing importance of record-keeping, literacy, and administrative work in medieval society. These chairs were not designed for comfort but for the assertion of authority, a visual manifestation of the sitter's elevated status and power within a rigidly hierarchical society. Chairs began to reappear in more varied forms, though still primarily for the wealthy and those of higher social standing. The box chair, or coffer chair, became increasingly common. These were essentially chests with a back and arms added, providing both seating and secure storage. Their heavy construction and often plain appearance reflected the practical needs of medieval life, where furniture often served multiple purposes in a world where space was at a premium and security was a constant concern. The quiet creak of a coffer chair being opened, revealing its hidden contents of valuables, documents, or textiles, was a familiar sound in a medieval hall or private chamber. These chairs were often placed against walls, maximizing floor space and providing a sense of solidity and permanence. Another significant development was the folding chair, often used for portability, particularly by military commanders, traveling dignitaries, or for ecclesiastical purposes, like the fold stool used by bishops. These chairs, while still sturdy, could be collapsed for easier transport, a practical innovation in a less settled age where travel was frequent and often arduous. Their design often featured an X-shaped frame, reminiscent of the Roman selicuris, further linking them to authority and mobility. The gentle click of a folding chair being set up, a temporary throne in a temporary camp, or a portable seat for a traveling lord, spoke to the adaptability of medieval life and the enduring need for a dignified seat, even on the move. They served as tangible representations of the divine right of kings and the established feudal order. Medieval thrones were often massive, heavy, and rigidly constructed, typically from solid oak or other sturdy local woods. They featured high, straight backs, sometimes adorned with simple carvings, painted heraldic devices, or religious iconography. The very immobility and solidity of these chairs underscored the permanence and unyielding nature of the power they represented. They were often placed on a raised dais, further emphasizing the distinction between the ruler and the ruled. The quiet dignity of a king seated on his throne, or a bishop in his cathedra, was a powerful visual statement, a silent reminder of their divine right or feudal authority. Commanding respect and obedience from those in their presence, these chairs were central to ceremonial life, from courtly audiences to religious services, acting as focal points for power and governance. In the early Middle Ages, seating became far more rudimentary and functional, reflecting the austere conditions, the more communal nature of life, and the scarcity of resources. Benches, stools, and chests were the predominant forms, typically roughly hewn from local timber, primarily oak, which was abundant and durable. These pieces were built for utility and longevity, often serving multiple purposes within a single, often cramped, living space. Luxury and comfort were not primary concerns. Practicality, durability, and portability were paramount. The quiet simplicity of these early medieval seats, often found in monastic cells, humble peasant homes, or the Spartan halls of early castles, speaks to a society focused on survival, spiritual devotion, and the immediate necessities of life rather than material indulgence. The gentle creak of a wooden bench, the rough texture of its surface, and the shared warmth of bodies seated together were the common experiences of medieval repose. However, even in this period of general austerity, the chair with a back and arms retained its powerful symbolic significance. During this period, writing desks began to emerge as specialized pieces of furniture, initially developed to accommodate the growing demand for record-keeping. As the Middle Ages progressed, particularly from the Romanesque to the Gothic periods, roughly from the 11th to the 15th centuries materials, ornamentation and craftsmanship during this period continued to prioritize honesty and durability. The medieval chair, though often austere, carried immense symbolic weight. With the end of the Middle Ages and the dawn of the Renaissance, we see a dramatic shift in aesthetics and values. Did you know that the average person today sits for about 7 to 8 hours per day? That's a lot of time spent seated in chairs, sofas, or other seating arrangements. And now it is time to discover how the Renaissance period brought about a new era in chair design. You will now be amazed by the creativity and innovation of the designers of that era and the enduring legacy of their creations. Humanism was a philosophical movement that emphasized the value and potential of human beings and their ability to reason and achieve greatness. The scabello was a small, light chair with a triangular or rectangular back and 3 legs. It was inspired by the Greek Klismos chair and was designed for indoor use, typically in pairs or small numbers. The scabello was made from various woods, including walnut. Cherry. The transition from medieval to Renaissance styles was not a sudden revolution, but rather a gradual evolution that occurred over several decades. Similarly, the changes in chair design were implemented through a series of small, thoughtful adjustments that had a profound impact on the overall aesthetic and functionality of the chairs. And mappa and was often decorated with intricate carvings, such as acanthus leaves, mythical creatures, or scenes from classical mythology. Instead, they represented a continuation and evolution of the trends that had been established in the preceding centuries. If you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more fascinating content. The emphasis on comfort, functionality, and beauty was a consistent thread that ran through the design of chairs throughout the medieval and Renaissance periods. Overall, the evolution of chairs from the medieval to the Renaissance period was a gradual and thoughtful process that resulted in some truly elegant and refined pieces of furniture. The changes in proportions, ornamentation, and upholstery were a reflection of the broader cultural and artistic shifts that were occurring during the Renaissance and represent a quiet revolution in the world of furniture design. Medieval chairs were typically quite bulky and heavy, with thick, sturdy legs and a substantial back. In contrast, Renaissance chairs were more elegant and refined, with thinner, more delicate legs and a more compact back. This shift in proportions was a reflection of the Renaissance emphasis on beauty and balance, and was achieved through the use of more sophisticated joinery techniques and the selection of lighter, more flexible woods. The delicate curves and graceful lines of the scabello epitomized the Renaissance ideal of beauty and proportion, and its portability allowed it to be easily moved and arranged to suit different needs and spaces. As previously mentioned, medieval chairs were often highly ornamented, with intricate carvings and a mix of decorative elements from various cultures. Renaissance chairs, on the other hand, were more restrained in their ornamentation, with more delicate and refined carvings that drew inspiration from classical sources, such as Greek and Roman mythology. This shift in ornamentation was a reflection of the Renaissance emphasis on humanism and the classical tradition, and was achieved through the use of more skilled and precise carving techniques. This new way of thinking was reflected in the more natural and relaxed posture of figures depicted in art. Design of furniture that catered to the comfort and convenience of the human body. The Savonarola chair, also known as the X chair or Donta chair, was a folding chair with a distinctive cross-shaped frame. During the Renaissance, chairs were primarily made from wood, with walnut being the most popular choice due to its strength, durability, and attractive grain. Other hardwoods, such as oak and cherry, were also used. The upholstery was minimal compared to later periods, but it did begin to appear more frequently, particularly on armchairs and other formal seating. Rich fabrics like velvet, brocade, and embroidered textiles were used to cover cushions and seats, adding color and texture to the chairs. The ornamentation on Renaissance chairs was a reflection of the period's emphasis on beauty and refinement. Carvers used a variety of techniques to decorate chairs, including relief, in which they carved raised designs on the surface of the chair; intarsia, in which they inserted pieces of contrasting wood into the surface of the chair to create decorative patterns or images; and marquetry, in which they inlaid materials such as ivory, bone, or precious metals into the surface of the chair to create intricate designs. The most common motifs used to decorate Renaissance chairs included acanthus leaves, classical urns, and vases, mythical creatures such as griffins and dolphins, and scenes from classical mythology and heraldry. The upholstery on Renaissance chairs was usually quite simple, consisting of a basic cushion covered in a plain fabric such as linen or cotton. However, some more elaborate chairs were upholstered in rich fabrics like velvet or brocade. The use of upholstery on chairs during the Renaissance was a sign of wealth and status, as these materials were expensive and labor-intensive to produce. Overall, the decoration and upholstery of Renaissance chairs were a reflection of the period's emphasis on beauty, refinement, and classical influences. The skilled craftsmanship and attention to detail evident in these chairs are a testament to the talent of the artisans who created them and their ability to combine functionality with art form. It was inspired by the Roman sella curellus, a folding chair used by Roman magistrates and senators. The Savonarola chair was highly valued for its portability and convenience, making it ideal for use in public spaces, religious institutions, and aristocratic households. It was typically made of walnut or other hardwoods and featured intricate, requiring skilled craftsmanship to assemble the various slats and braces that formed the chair's distinctive X-heaped frame. The Savonarola chair remained popular throughout the Renaissance and beyond, and it continues to be admired for its historical significance and elegant design. So sit back, relax, and get ready to learn about this stunning evolution of chairs from medieval times to the Renaissance. Considering this, it's no surprise that we have become quite particular about our seating preferences. The Renaissance marked a significant departure from the medieval period in many aspects of art, architecture, and design. Inspired by the classical art and culture of Greece and Rome, Renaissance designers began to incorporate elements of classical architecture and design into their work. This influence is evident in the revival of ancient motifs, the use of classical orders, and the emphasis on balance and harmony. The focus shifted from the divine and the spiritual to the human and the earthly. This change in perspective was reflected in the design of chairs, which began to emphasize elegance, proportion, and comfort. We want them to be comfortable, aesthetically pleasing, and functional. But did you know that the evolution of chairs has been a long and interesting one? The rebirth of elegance and comfort, a return to classical forms and proportions. The Italian Renaissance, which spanned from the 14th to the 17th century, is considered the birthplace of this transformation. Humanism was another key aspect of the Renaissance that influenced chair design. One of the most iconic chair types that emerged during the Italian Renaissance was this. Another notable chair type that developed during the Renaissance was the Savonarola chair. Materials, ornamentation, and upholstery, a symphony of richness. The Quiet Revolution, a gentle shift in form and function. One of the ways in which Renaissance chair design differed from medieval styles was in their proportions. Another way in which Renaissance chairs differed from medieval styles, despite these changes, it's important to note that Renaissance chairs were not a complete break from medieval styles. And there you have it, a captivating journey through the evolution of chairs from simple stools to the exquisite masterpieces of the Renaissance period. The French Revolution and the Napoleonic Wars shook Europe to its core, leaving behind a landscape forever changed. In the aftermath of these tumultuous events, a new era dawned, an era defined by rationality, balance, and a renewed interest in the classical antiquity, the neoclassical era. This shift in perspective extended its influence to every facet of life, including the realm of furniture design. The neoclassical chair emerged as a symbol of this transformation, bearing witness to the spirit of the times. As the old order was swept away and new ideals took center stage, chairs became canvases for expressing the revolutionary fervor and the desire for a more rational world. Instead, it was used judiciously to accentuate the clean lines and balanced proportions of the chair. Simple patterns or textures were preferred, such as broadcloth, plain cotton, linen, or fine wool, often in muted colors that complemented the wood tones. And Roman designs, such as the Klismos chair, which originated in Greece around 350 BC in grand reception rooms. For instance, pairs or matched sets of chairs were strategically placed to create a sense of harmony and order. Upholstered chairs were frequently paired with more informal seating options such as settees or sofas, offering guests a choice of seating while maintaining an overall sense of balance in the room. Known as the Rococo Revival, this romantic reaction against the prevailing neoclassical aesthetic marked a significant shift in decorative arts, signaling a longing for the elegance and playfulness of the past. In response to this trend, chairmakers began to incorporate elements of Rococo design, such as the signature cabrio leg with its distinctive outward curving knee and inward curving foot. These legs, often crafted with elegant curves and delicate proportions, paid homage to the Rococo's emphasis on grace and refinement. Often they were generously padded and shaped to the contours of the body, offering a luxurious seating experience. These pads were covered in the same fine fabrics used for upholstery, enhancing the sense of richness and refinement. The overall effect of these design elements was a chair that combined comfort, elegance, and historical charm. Each piece was a testament to the skilled craftsmanship of the chairmaker, who was able to capture the essence of the Rococo Revival style through the careful selection of materials and the meticulous attention to detail. These chairs became central elements in interior design schemes, often placed in drawing rooms or boudoirs, where their graceful forms and romantic charm added a touch of whimsy and elegance to the space. The resurgence of the Rococo Revival style in furniture design marked not only a departure from the dominant neoclassical aesthetic, but also a celebration of the past. It symbolized a yearning for a time when artistry and ornamentation were highly valued, and it signaled a broader cultural shift towards romanticism and individualism. As the 19th century progressed, this eclectic mix of old and new would pave the way for the emergence of new design movements and solidify the enduring legacy of the Rococo era in interior design. Furthermore, the upholstery played a pivotal role in achieving that desired Rococo Revival aesthetic. Soft, inviting fabrics, such as velvet, satin, and chintz, were favored, often featuring floral or toile de jouy patterns that evoked a sense of romantic nostalgia. These textiles were meticulously tailored, sometimes with layers of ruffles or other decorative elements that added to the chair's overall opulence and charm. This fascination with all things Rococo led to a revival of the style, which included a renewed interest in the highly ornamented. Lighter woods such as mahogany and satinwood were preferred, showcasing the natural beauty of the grain and lending an air of sophistication to the finished product. Sometimes these woods were inlaid with contrasting materials like ivory or mother of pearl, creating intricate patterns and adding a touch of opulence to the chair's surface. This technique not only highlighted the craftsmanship of the chairmaker, but also served to reinforce the connection to the original Rococo period and intricately designed chairs of the late Baroque and early 18th century. The placement of chairs also reflected the importance of creating intimate conversational areas within larger spaces. By arranging chairs in clusters or small groups, neoclassical interiors fostered a sense of encouraging intimate conversations and social interaction among guests. The arrangement of chairs in relation to one another and to the room as a whole exemplified the neoclassical ideal of balance and proportion, reflecting the broader societal shift towards rationality, order, and the re-embracing of classical principles in a world transformed by revolution. This chair, known for its curved backrest and elegantly tapered legs, became a prime example of neoclassical design, exemplifying the fusion of classical antiquity and modern aesthetics. Similarly, Roman-inspired designs like the fauteuil, with its stately presence and straight, sturdy legs, also found their place in neoclassical interiors. The upholstery served to enhance the overall harmony and balance of the piece, rather than overpower it. With excessive ornamentation, the Age of Enlightenment, which had been gaining momentum since the late Baroque period, emphasized reason, logic, and a rejection of excessive ornamentation. Instead of the heavy, intricate carving that had been characteristic of previous eras, neoclassical chairs featured delicate, linear motifs that alluded to the classical world. For example, some chairs incorporated laurel wreaths, urns, or Greek patterns, all of which symbolized the neoclassical fascination with ancient Greece and Rome. These motifs were executed with precision, demonstrating the skill and artistry of the cabinet maker, but they never obscured the chair's underlying simplicity and functionality. This intellectual movement celebrated human achievement and the power of the individual mind, advocating for a society based on rationality and civic virtue. The call for simplicity, clarity, and functionality resonated deeply in the artistic realm, setting the stage for the rise of neo. In the realm of furniture, this translated into a rejection of the Rococo as playful asymmetry and intricate detailing in favor of clean lines, balanced proportions, and restrained ornamentation. The neoclassical chair typically featured straight, tapered legs joined by a stretcher, or in the cabriole style. The outer legs were straight and the center leg was curved. These legs provided a sturdy, stable base for the chair, symbolizing the newfound emphasis on rationality and order in a world that had experienced so much upheaval. The frames were crafted from solid wood, often mahogany or other richly colored hardwoods, showcasing the natural beauty of the material. This marked a departure from the heavy, dark woods and gilt surfaces that had dominated previous eras, aligning with the neoclassical celebration of simplicity and purity of form. Upholstery played a crucial role in the neoclassical chair, but it was far from the sumptuous, extravagant displays of the Baroque and Rococo period. In terms of decoration, neoclassical chairs were meticulously crafted to include only the most essential and refined details. Perhaps one of the most defining features of the neoclassical chair was its adaptation of ancient Greek. Seating arrangements during this period often followed the principles of symmetry and balance that were central to neoclassical design. Rococo revival, a romantic reaction against neoclassicism as the 19th century progressed. A wave of nostalgia for the Rococo era began to sweep through European and American elites. During this period, there was a growing desire to infuse living spaces with an atmosphere of intimacy and charm. Wood selection also played a part in capturing the essence of the Rococo revival style. The seats and backs of chairs were designed to provide both comfort and visual appeal. Neoclassicism swept through Europe like a breath of fresh air, marking a stark departure from the lavish Rococo of the early 18th century. As we step into the world of 18th century chairs, we uncover how this new movement, the intellectual ferment of the Enlightenment and the discovery of Roman antiquities, breathed new life into classical forms. Outside France, the Adam style flourished in England, named after the prominent architect and designer Robert Adam. Born in 1728, Adam was a Scottish architect and designer whose work epitomized the fusion of classical ideals with English aesthetics. Writers, philosophers, scientists, and intellectuals sought to imbue their homes with a similar air of order and rationality that they applied to their work. The chair became a silent collaborator in this intellectual endeavor, offering comfort and support as these minds grappled with the complexities of the world. In America, the revolutionary fervor and democratic ideals found expression in simpler forms of furniture. Craftsmen in the colonies adapted neoclassical motifs to suit local tastes and available materials. The result was a unique blend of classical influence and frontier practicality. The Windsor chair emerged during this period, exemplifying the fusion of traditional English design with American ingenuity. This chair, with its distinctive spindled back and turned legs, became a symbol of colonial comfort. In England, the work of designers like Thomas Chippendale, George Hepplewhite, and Thomas Sheruten showcased the versatility of neoclassical principles. Chippendale, known for his mastery of curves and intricate carvings, produced chairs that were both elegant and playful. Hepplewhite and Sheraton, on the other hand, favored more delicate designs with slender legs and shield-shaped backs. As the century progressed, chairs became more specialized, catering to specific needs and activities. The writing chair, with its extended armrest, was designed for the growing number of intellectuals and scholars who spent hours poring over books. Library chairs were generously proportioned with ample padding for long hours of reading. Meanwhile, dining chairs became lighter and more numerous, reflecting the increasing popularity of formal dining. His designs, often executed by renowned cabinet makers like John Cobb, George Hepplewhite, and William Weil, continue to captivate with their elegance and refinement. It embodied the philosophical ideals of the Enlightenment, the love for classical antiquity. The 18th century chair was a product of its time, reflecting the intellectual ferments, social change, and artistic innovation that defined the era. As we conclude our exploration of this pivotal century in furniture design, let us take a moment to appreciate the enduring legacy of the 18th century chair. Its influence can still be seen in contemporary designs, and its timeless elegance continues to inspire today's artisan. The 18th century chair serves as a reminder of the profound impact that furniture can have on our lives, not just as functional objects, but as silent witnesses to the evolution of human thought and culture. Adams' approach to interior design was holistic, considering every element from wall treatments to furniture to create a cohesive and harmonious environment. This comprehensive approach was evident in his chairs, which were meticulously designed to complement the architectural elements of each room. The chairs bore witness to this transformative process, becoming key players in the grand drama of interior design. Central to Adams' design philosophy was the belief in the importance of natural forms and motifs. He drew inspiration from nature, incorporating organic shapes and natural materials into his work. This can be seen in the graceful curves of chair backs, reminiscent of plants, or the use of exotic woods with distinctive grain patterns. Adams' chairs were not merely functional pieces of furniture, but rather works of art in their own right. They were designed to evoke a sense of wonder and delight, inviting viewers to appreciate the beauty of form and craftsmanship. The attention to detail was nothing short of extraordinary. Intricate carvings, elegant curves, and the masterful use of veneers transformed chairs into miniature sculptures. Each piece was a testament to the skill and artistry of the cabinet makers who brought Adams' designs to life. One of the most iconic examples of Adams-style furniture is the seated Hercules chair, which combines classical mythology with neoclassical design. The chair's name derives from the mythical hero Hercules, symbolizing strength and heroism. The design features intricate carvings of Hercules seated on a stone pedestal, showcasing the fusion of classical themes with neoclassical aesthetics. This style seamlessly integrated classical motifs with English sensibilities, creating interiors of unparalleled sophistication. The neoclassical principles of balance, harmony, and restraint were carried over to the realm of furniture design, leading to some of the most iconic chairs of the 18th century. The trend towards smaller, more delicate furniture, exemplified by the Louis XVI style, was a clear break from the grandiosity of the previous Rococo period. Gone were the days of overly ornate designs. In their place, clean lines, geometric shapes, and a more restrained use of ornament took center stage. This shift can be seen in the emergence of the armchair silhouette with tapered, fluted, or reeded legs terminating in delicate feet such as spade or thimble feet, reminiscent of classical columns. Backs were typically rectangular or shield-shaped and adorned with classical motifs like urns, laurel wreaths, or acanthus leaves. The upholstery, although luxurious, was designed to complement rather than overpower the chair's structure. Damask fabrics featuring classical patterns or stripes added a touch of elegance, without overwhelming the overall design. The neoclassical chair celebrated the beauty of simplicity. Materials such as mahogany and satinwood were prized for their rich color and fine grain, allowing the natural beauty of the wood to shine through. Intricate marquetry or veneer work transformed surfaces into intricate works of art. The delicate balance between form and function was masterfully executed, resulting in chairs that were not only visually stunning, but also incredibly comfortable. Upholstery played a crucial role in achieving this harmony. With skilled artisans padding and draping the seats and backs to perfection, the result was a seating experience that married luxury with ergonomic design. a testament to the 18th century obsession with refinement and comfort. This fusion gave rise to this renewed interest in classical aesthetics led to a surge in archaeological expeditions, particularly in Italy and Greece, where scholars unearthed countless treasures of the past. Among the most significant discoveries were the Roman cities of Pompeii and Herculaneum, which had been buried by the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. Access to these remarkably preserved sites allowed artists and designers to study and reproduce ancient works firsthand. The discovery of the Roman villa at Pompeii in 1748 and subsequent excavations throughout the 18th century provided a rich source of inspiration for architects, painters, sculptors, and furniture designers. The clean lines, harmonious proportions, and enduring legacy of Roman art left an indelible mark on the creative imagination of the age. And the Age of Reason found expression in some of the most exquisite seating ever crafted. As the 18th century dawned, Europe stood at a pivotal moment in history. In response to this classical revival, the Louis XVI style emerged in France, characterized by delicate elegance and refined simplicity. Let us now turn our attention to one of the most prominent figures in 18th century English neoclassical design, Robert Adam. But neoclassical design wasn't confined to the drawing rooms of the elite. It found fertile ground in the burgeoning middle class, too. By the end of the 18th century, the chair had evolved into a multifaceted symbol of the age. In the 18th century, the chair began its journey to becoming a fundamental element of our everyday lives. The 19th century saw the rise of several prominent styles of furniture, with Victorian eclecticism dominating much of the century, particularly in England and America. Amidst the opulence and historical revivals of the Victorian era, a revolutionary innovation emerged that would forever change the landscape of furniture design. Cast iron furniture, including chairs and benches, gained popularity during this period due to its durability. The ability to cast intricate, ornate patterns in metal allowed manufacturers to create highly decorative and sturdy pieces capable of withstanding the elements. The eclecticism of the Victorian era, the widespread availability of mass-produced furniture, and the philosophical reactions of movements like arts and crafts all contributed to a fertile ground for innovation. The development of new materials and manufacturing processes, coupled with a growing desire for functionalism and simplicity, would soon usher in the age of modernism, fundamentally reshaping the chair and its role in society. The quiet anticipation of a new century, the subtle shift in design philosophies, and the lingering echoes of past styles all contributed to a sense of impending change, a gentle whisper of the future of seating. These cast-iron chairs and benches often featured elaborate floral, Gothic or classical motifs, adding an element of grandeur and permanence to gardens, parks and public spaces. Innovations in production, techniques, materials, and design philosophy led to a proliferation of styles and a democratization of access to furniture, from the grandeur of Victorian parlors to the rise of bentwood and the simplicity of arts and crafts furniture. Each style tells a story of the evolving needs, tastes, and values of society. The 19th century laid the groundwork for the modern chair, setting the stage for the radical innovations and philosophical shifts that would define the 20th century and beyond. Their elaborate designs not only served a decorative function, but also highlighted the technical capabilities of the industrial age. The quiet solidity of a cast-iron bench, its intricate patterns catching the light, and its unyielding presence in a public park spoke to the era's fascination with industrial materials and its desire to bring the decorative arts to the masses. Pioneered by the German-Austrian cabinet maker Michael Thornton in the mid-19th century, this technique involved steaming solid wood rods and then bending them into elegant curvilinear forms using molds. And the declining craftsmanship, the arts and crafts movement, originating in Britain in the latter half of the 19th century and spreading to America and Europe. This movement championed traditional craftsmanship, simple forms, and the use of natural materials. Figures like William Morris advocated for a return to the values of medieval guilds, emphasizing the importance of the individual craftsman and the beauty of handmade objects. Arts and crafts chairs were characterized by their sturdy construction, honest joinery, often exposed, and a rejection of excessive ornamentation. Oak was a favored wood, often fumed to achieve a darker tone, and designs were typically emphasizing vertical and horizontal lines. Leather and natural fabrics were common choices for upholstery, often in muted, earthy tone. The quiet dedication of the arts and crafts artisan, the visible hand of the maker in every joint and surface, and the unpretentious beauty of natural materials offered a powerful antidote to the mass-produced, often imitation furniture of the Victorian factories. This process allowed for the mass production of lightweight, durable, and aesthetically pleasing chairs with minimal joinery, making them incredibly strong and remarkably affordable. Thont's most iconic creation, the chair, introduced in it consisted of only 6 pieces of bent wood, 10 screws and 2 nuts, and could be shipped disassembled in compact boxes, significantly reducing shipping costs and making it ideal for export. Its elegant simplicity, durability, and affordability made it ubiquitous in cafes, restaurants, and homes across Europe and beyond. The quiet elegance of a Thont bentwood chair, its smooth curves and light form, offered a refreshing contrast to the heavy Victorian aesthetic, symbolizing a new era of industrial design and democratic access to well-designed furniture. Named after Queen Victoria's extensive reign, this era was characterized by a rich eclecticism, drawing inspiration from a multitude of historical styles, including Gothic, Rococo, and even exotic influences from the Middle East and Asia. Victorian furniture, including chairs, was often heavy, ornate, and emphasized comfort and domesticity, reflecting the values of a society that increasingly sought refuge and display within the home. These chairs were typically robust with generous proportions and often elaborate carving. Dark woods like mahogany, walnut, and rosewood were favored, often highly polished. The ornamentation was profuse, featuring intricate floral motifs, scrolls, cabochones, and sometimes even grotesque figures. This exuberance was a reflection of the rapid industrialization, economic growth, and a burgeoning middle class that marked the Victorian era. Importantly, Victorian furniture was not just confined to palaces or grand estates. With the rise of industrial production and new materials, furniture makers began catering to a wider market. This meant that chairs and other furniture items became more accessible to the burgeoning middle class, allowing them to furnish their homes with style and comfort. The quiet grandeur of a Victorian parlor, complete with intricately carved chairs, reflected the era's fascination with luxury and comfort within the domestic sphere. But it was in the 19th century that this humble seat underwent a metamorphosis driven by profound societal shifts, technological revolutions, and evolving aesthetics. From the opulent excesses of Victorian parlors to the groundbreaking innovations of bentwood furniture, the 19th century proved to be a pivotal era in the history of the chair, laying the groundwork for the modern chairs of tomorrow. The dawn of industrialization, revolutionizing production and accessibility. The 19th century opened with the dawn of the Industrial Revolution, a period of rapid technological advancement that profoundly impacted every facet of society, including furniture making, the invention of machines like the power loom and the cotton gin mechanized textile production. While the steam engine became a ubiquitous symbol of this era's transformative power, these innovations not only increased efficiency, but also laid the foundation for mass production, allowing for the creation of large quantities of goods at a faster pace than ever before. This revolution also led to the establishment of factories, centralized workshops equipped with power machinery, which housed workers who performed repetitive tasks, further accelerating production. This shift from artisanal workshops to large-scale factories fundamentally changed the way furniture was made, including chairs. One of the most significant impacts of industrialization was the introduction of the circular saw in the early 19th. This invention, attributed to the Englishman William Henry Deep, revolutionized woodcutting, enabling the rapid and precise slicing of large logs into usable boards. Before this innovation, cutting wood was a laborious process, often done by hand with a simple saw or axe. The circular saw's efficiency and precision were game changers, greatly reducing the time and effort required to prepare wood for furniture making. This development was a precursor to the eventual mass adoption of woodworking machinery in the mid-19th century. By the mid-19th century, woodworking machinery had become more accessible and affordable, leading to its widespread adoption in furniture workshops. Tools like the planer, the jointer, and the lathe enabled furniture makers to produce pieces with greater precision, uniformity, and speed. The planer, for example, allowed for the quick and accurate smoothing of wooden surfaces, while the lathe enabled the creation of curved and complex shapes with ease. These tools were instrumental in the mass production of furniture components, reducing the reliance on skilled hand craftsmanship and speeding up the production process dramatically. With these advancements, factories could produce chairs and other furniture at unprecedented speeds, offering a wider variety of styles and designs at lower prices than ever before. This mechanization, however, did not entirely diminish the role of the craftsman. Skilled artisans were still needed to operate and maintain the machinery, as well as to oversee the production process and make adjustments as needed. Moreover, some furniture makers continued to produce intricate pieces that demanded the precision and creativity of hand craftsmanship. Nonetheless, industrialization fundamentally altered the furniture industry, paving the way for mass production and making furniture, including chairs, more accessible to a broader audience. The quiet hum of machinery, the precise cut of a circular saw, and the steady rhythm of production marked a new era in the chair's history. Victorian eclecticism, opulence, ornamentation, and comfort, cast iron furniture, durability, and decorative potential. The 19th century also saw the widespread adoption of cast iron in furniture production, particularly for outdoor and public seating. The arts and crafts movement, a reaction to industrialization. As the century progressed, a powerful counter-movement emerged in response to the perceived dehumanizing effects of industrialization. The end of the century, seeds of modernism. By the close of the 19th century, the stage was set for even more radical changes in chair design. The turn of the 20th century ushered in an era of radical change, driven by rapid technological advancements, shifting social structures. One of the most influential forces in early 20th century design was the Bauhaus school. Founded in Germany in 1919, the Bauhaus sought to unite art, while sharing modernism's embrace of new materials and a rejection of historical ornamentation. Art Deco was characterized by its love of glamour, geometric patterns, bold lines, and exotic influences, and a strong belief in democratic design. The idea that good design should be accessible to everyone. Designers of this era experimented with new manufacturing techniques and materials, particularly molded plywood, fiberglass, and plastic, to create comfortable, functional, and aesthetically pleasing chairs that could be Charles and Ray Eames, this iconic American husband and wife design duo, were pioneers in the use of molded plywood. Their Eames lounge chair and ottoman is a masterpiece of comfort and craftsmanship, combining molded plywood shells with luxurious leather cushions. Their earlier Eames molded plywood chairs and Eames fiberglass chairs were revolutionary in their ability to create ergonomically shaped seats from single pieces of material, offering affordable and comfortable seating solutions for homes and public spaces. The quiet curve of molded plywood, the soft give of a leather cushion, and the inviting embrace of an Eames chair all spoke to a new era of comfortable, functional, and aesthetically pleasing design. Eero Saarinen, a Finnish-American architect and designer, Saarinen explored organic forms and single material construction. His tulip chair, with its single pedestal base, aimed to eliminate the slum of legs under tables, creating a sculptural and futuristic aesthetic. The quiet elegance of a tulip chair, chairs of this period often featured sleek, streamlined forms, luxurious materials, and a sense of sophisticated elegance. The quiet shimmer of polished chrome, the rich texture of exotic woods, and the bold geometry of Art Deco designs all contributed to an atmosphere of sophisticated luxury and cosmopolitan flair. Materials like chrome, polished wood, glass, and rich leathers or velvets were common. Chairs often had rounded backs, deep seats, and sometimes incorporated stepped forms or sunburst motifs. While still emphasizing comfort, Art Deco chairs were designed to make a statement, reflecting the optimism and exuberance of the Jazz Age. The quiet click of a cocktail glass, the soft murmur of conversation, and the subtle scent of expensive perfume would have filled the elegant Art Deco interiors, where chairs were not just functional objects but integral components of a glamorous lifestyle. Craft and technology, promoting a functional and minimalist aesthetic suitable for mass production. Its designers experimented with new materials and construction methods, leading to groundbreaking innovations in chair design. The quiet discipline of the Bauhaus workshop, the meticulous exploration of material properties, and the collaborative spirit of its artists and craftsmen all contributed to a fertile ground for revolutionary ideas. Tubular steel emerged as a pivotal material. Its strength, lightness, and ability to be bent into continuous, flowing forms offered unprecedented design possibilities. Designers like Marcel Breuer, Mies van der Rohe, and Mart Stam were pioneers in its use. Marcel Breuer, As a student, and later a master at the Breuer revolutionized chair design with his use of tubular steel. His Vosseli chair, inspired by the handlebars of his bicycle, was one of the first chairs to use bent tubular steel. Its open, skeletal frame in canvas or leather slings created a lightweight. His later cantilever chair, inspired by Martstam, further explored the idea of a chair that appears to float, supported only by its front legs, showcasing the material's inherent strength and flexibility. The quiet resilience of tubular steel, the subtle tension of its curves, and the minimalist elegance of Breuer's designs all spoke to a new era of industrial precision and artistic innovation. Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, another influential Bauhaus figure, Mies van der Rohe embraced tubular steel to create chairs that embodied his famous dictum, less is more. His Barcelona chair, designed for the German pavilion at the International Exposition in Barcelona, is a masterpiece of minimalist elegance. While initially conceived with a bolted frame, its later iterations featured a continuous, polished stainless steel frame and luxurious leather cushions, creating a timeless icon of modern design. His Brno chair and Mr. Chair further demonstrated his mastery of tubular steel, combining structural integrity with refined aesthetics. The quiet gleam of polished chrome, the smooth texture of fine leather, and the balanced proportions of Mies van der Rohe's chairs all contributed to an aura of sophisticated luxury and timeless modernity. Mart Stam, often credited with designing the first cantilever chair, Stam's work focused on functionalism and a rational approach to design. His simple, unadorned tubular steel chairs emphasized the structural properties of the material, paving the way for many subsequent designs. The quiet strength of his unadorned forms, the logical progression of his lines, and the unpretentious utility of his designs all spoke to a new era of functional purity and These tubular steel chairs were not just aesthetically innovative, they were also designed for mass production, making modern design accessible to a wider audience. They symbolized a new machine aesthetic, clean, efficient, and forward, and a profound desire to break away from the historical eclecticism and ornamentation of the Victorian age. This period saw the emergence of modernism, a broad movement that championed simplicity, functionality, and a rejection of historical styles. In furniture design, this translated into a philosophy of form follows function, where the aesthetic appeal of a chair was derived from its purpose and the inherent qualities of its materials, rather than applied decoration. The quiet stripping away of excess, the embrace of clean lines, and the celebration of industrial processes marked a revolutionary departure from centuries of design tradition. The gentle hum of a new machine, the smooth glide of a newly formed material, and the stark beauty of unadorned surfaces all contributed to a sense of a future unburdened by the past. The Bauhaus and tubular steel, a new aesthetic for the machine age, Art Deco, glamour, geometry, and running concurrently with early modernism, particularly in the 1920s and 1930s, was the Art Deco movement. Mid-century modern, organic forms and democratic design. Following World War II, the mid-century modern movement emerged, characterized by its optimistic outlook, organic forms. In the 21st century, the quest for the ultimate chair has taken on a whole new dimension. As technology advances, consumer preferences shift and sustainability becomes a top priority. So sit back, relax, and prepare to be amazed by these remarkable 21st century chairs that push the boundaries of comfort, aesthetics, and innovation. We find ourselves on the brink of extraordinary innovations in seating design. In this journey, we will explore some of the most exceptional 21st century chairs that redefine comfort, style, and functionality. Amid the surge of technologically advanced chairs, it's refreshing to encounter a piece that celebrates traditional craftsmanship while embracing modern aesthetics. Enter the Logan armchair by Rodney Kinsman, a 21st century masterpiece that seamlessly blends classic design elements with contemporary flair. The Logan armchair showcases Kinsman's exceptional skill and attention to detail. This groundbreaking piece is crafted from a single element of expanded polypropylene, making it not only visually striking, but also incredibly durable. This playful yet sophisticated chair is a true work of art. The Halo's standout feature is its detachable luminous sphere, which casts a soft, ethereal glow, transforming any space into an enchanting oasis. This sculptural marvel consists of a single continuous wire that is expertly bent and interwoven to create a three-dimensional lattice. For a truly unique and culturally rich seating experience, look no further than the mandapa chair by Studio Ceylon Architects. Inspired by the traditional seating practices of the Dayak people in Borneo, this chair reinterprets age-old techniques and aesthetics for the modern world. The mandapa chair isn't just a seat, it's a symbol of cultural exchange and artistic brilliance. The designers have masterfully combined traditional craftsmanship with contemporary materials, resulting in a piece that is both visually stunning and deeply meaningful. Whether placed in a home, office, or gallery, the mandapa chair sparks curiosity and conversation, inviting viewers to appreciate the rich heritage that inspired its design. The result is a chair that appears to defy gravity and conventional construction methods. From the ergonomic marvels of the embodied chair to the whimsical charm of the Papilio lounge chair, each creation reflects the boundless creativity of designers and the potential of furniture to shape our experiences. As we continue to push the boundaries of what's possible in seating design, one thing is clear: the humble chair will forever be an arena for pushing the boundaries of human ingenuity. The Wireflow chair isn't just a feast for the eyes, it's also incredibly functional. The unique latticework allows for air to flow through the chair, making it ideal for outdoor use. Additionally, the chair's inherent strength and durability ensure that it withstands the test of time without compromising on style. Crafted with meticulous attention to detail, this chair seamlessly blends functionality with artistry. The primary structure is made of powder-coated steel and aluminum, providing a sturdy foundation while the detachable sphere adds a magical touch. Whether gracing your dining room, living room, or even an outdoor space, the Halo chair is sure to captivate and inspire wonder. The unique material and construction of the seedling chair make it resistant to weather, UV rays, and even fire, ensuring it remains a part of your outdoor sanctuary for years to come. Inspired by the Japanese word for chair, which happens to be the designers have created a piece that embodies relaxation and comfort. With clean lines and an inviting form, the Karoo armchair fits seamlessly into any modern interior. The secret behind its comfort lies in the meticulous attention to detail. From the generous padding to the slight recline, every aspect of this chair is designed to cradle your body and soothe your mind. Whether you're curling up with a good book or simply unwinding after a busy day, the Karoo armchair envelops you in a cocoon of relaxation. With its inviting design, the seedling encourages relaxation and connection. It's the perfect choice for creating intimate seating areas in your garden, patio, or balcony. And with a range of colors to choose from, you can select the shade that best suits your personal taste and complements your outdoor decor. Each curve and contour is meticulously crafted, inviting you to sink into its embrace and experience unparalleled comfort. Yet it doesn't merely rest on its aesthetic laurels. The logo is also a study in functionality with features such as an headrest and a tilting mechanism that adapts to your every need. Despite its traditional appearance, this armchair incorporates modern elements such as a sturdy steel frame and high-density foam cushioning. The result is a piece that not only embodies timeless elegance, but also offers the durability and comfort demanded by 21st century living. Like the Embody, the Kasam represents a leap forward in ergonomic design, but with a slightly different approach. For those who appreciate avant-garde design, the Papilio lounge chair by Lever Alther Arnaz is a mesmerizing spectacle. Inspired by the metamorphosis of a butterfly, this sculptural chair seems to defy gravity with its delicate yet robust form. The Papilio is a testament to the power of creativity and innovation. Every curve is a masterpiece, inviting you to lose yourself in its fluid contours and experience relaxation like never before. What makes the Papilio truly special is its ability to transform any space into a haven of tranquility. Whether in a home, office, or public area, this chair becomes a focal point, sparking conversations and inspiring. Its unique design also reflects a deep understanding of ergonomics, ensuring maximum comfort without compromising on style. Instead of mimicking the contours of your body, the Kosam provides a more neutral seating position, allowing you to maintain your natural upright posture. Born out of a collaboration between the British designers and the esteemed furniture manufacturer, Knoll, the Flint chair is a perfect marriage of form and function. With clean lines and a minimalist aesthetic, this chair complements any interior while offering unparalleled comfort. But don't be fooled by its seemingly simple design. The Flint chair is the result of extensive research into ergonomics and material science. Every detail, from the curvature of the backrest to the texture of the upholstery, is carefully considered to provide the ultimate seating experience. Whether in a residential or commercial setting, the Flint chair stands as a timeless symbol of 21st century design excellence. This is achieved through its unique set of casters that enable the chair to tilt and rotate freely, encouraging micro-movements that promote better circulation and reduce muscle strain. Furthermore, the Klismos is notable for its use of sustainable materials, including a frame made from 40% recycled plastic. This blend of innovation and environmental consciousness positions the Klismos as a leader in 21st century chair design, proving that ergonomic excellence and sustainability go hand in hand. From the ergonomic wonders of the embodied chair to the whimsical charm of the Papilio lounge chair, each creation tells a story of human ingenuity and the endless possibilities of design. The embodied chair, embodying the future of at the forefront of 21st century chair design stands the embodied chair, a masterpiece of ergonomic engineering, created by the renowned industrial designer Dieter Rams for the Herman Miller Company. This chair sets a new standard in workplace seating. Its unique selling point lies in its ability to adapt to the user's body, providing unparalleled support and comfort throughout the day. With a sleek, organic shape, the embodied chair cradles your body, while its advanced suspension system responds to your every move. This dynamic interplay between the chair and the user promotes optimal spinal alignment and encourages movement, reducing fatigue and enhancing productivity. What sets the Embody apart is its focus on sustainability. Crafted from recycled materials and designed for this chair embodies Herman Miller's commitment to reducing its carbon footprint. The result is a product that is not only revolutionary in terms of ergonomics, but also conscious of its impact on the planet. The Klismos chair, balancing innovation and sustainability. Another remarkable 21st century chair is the Klismos chair by Canadian designer Don Chadwick and Bill Stumpf, also produced by Herman Miller. The Logan armchair by Rodney Kinsman, where craftsmanship meets modernity. The Papilio lounge chair by Liva Alfarano. The Flint chair by Edward Barber and J. Odd. When it comes to simplicity and elegance, few chairs match the sophistication of the Flint chair by Edward Barber and J. Oz. The Seedling chair by Pearson Lloyd Formosa. If you're seeking a chair that combines sustainability with style, look no further than the Seedling chair by Pearson Lloyd Formosa. The Halo chair by Pearson Lloyd Forflows. For a touch of whimsy and innovation, consider the Halo chair by Pearson Lloyd Forflows. The Karoo armchair by Ronan and Erwan. Renowned designers Ronan and Erwan Barulik have created a masterpiece of relaxation with the Karoo armchair for the Spanish furniture brand. The Wireflow chair by Jonas Trampedak for Hay. Danish designer Jonas Trampedak has pushed the boundaries of material innovation with the Wireflow chair for the renowned furniture brand Hey Demandupa chair by Studio Cylon Architects. In conclusion, the 21st century has gifted us with an array of extraordinary chairs that transcend their functional purpose and become statements of design, innovation, and sustainability. If you really enjoyed History of Chairs today, please hit the like button and do subscribe and share with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos like this.